It's been a relatively quiet day on the Cristian Romero front, which is rather bizarre to say. But we'll be talking through the few updates that we have gotten, as well as some news on Lautaro Martinez and Harry Kane. But before we do that, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the bun, Danny Kiriakou, to ripple through this medley of Spurs trash, I suppose we can call it at this stage. But Danny, how are you getting on this evening or tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. A bit tired. I'm actually I'm starting to feel a bit more energized now for some weird reason after a long day. But yeah, I've literally, as the day's gone on, I've been scrolling through Tear every now and again. All I see is Tottenham news. All I see is Tottenham news.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting stream, I think.
It will. It definitely will be. Look, if you are watching, do make sure to hit that like button. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new for more content like this throughout the rest of the summer. And hopefully another interview with Fabrizio Romano before the window slams shut on the 30th or 31st of August, however many days there are in that month. But look, we'll start with revisiting what happened last night with Cristian Romero. And it was a tumultuous couple of hours where we initially heard from Fabrizio Romano to start with that Tottenham were set to match Atalanta's valuation of Cristian Romero and offer the €50 million that they have been demanding in negotiations recently. That was echoed by Matteo Moretto and Gianluca Di Marzio. And Danny, in that moment, things seemed absolutely perfect in the world of Tottenham Hotspur. It looked as though we could have been getting that signing over the line. Talk us through what you were feeling in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what, Matt? I'll be honest. It's been one of those situations, right, where it's like I've kind of taken everything with a pinch of salt because every tweet that you see, it kind of just contradicts itself. It's like, well, you've just said that, but then you've just said that. So it kind of just really like throws a spanner in the works for every single tweet. It's like one, I put a tweet out last night, right, and I said it's literally like a roller coaster being a Tottenham fan, like as if you're going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, like non-stop. It's like you're surfing a wave. It's like 1 minute, oh my god, it could happen, and the next minute it's like, oh, it's Tottenham, and it's been a bit crazy, and I'm trying to like not get optimistic about it because we know where this goes. We've seen it a million times.
Yeah, and I was sitting here in the stream last night because as soon as that news broke out, I was jumping in here straight away talking about how great it was. And I mentioned that this deal getting over the line, or at least Tottenham matching how much Atalanta wanted for the player, kind of told us that, Fabio Paratici was the one in charge of this stuff because I kept on saying he's the man who's been quoted as saying he'll overpay for targets if he needs them. And if it wasn't going to happen, well, then we know it was Daniel Levy, who was, famously his penny pinching against Costa's team, incredible deals like Milan Skriniar last summer, and Paulo Dybala and Bruno Fernandes the year before. And then very, very quickly, it turned towards a bit more on the negative side. And I will say, I don't think it is for the same reasons as that. But for anyone who isn't aware of kind of where that news went then last night, it was that Atalanta, while happy with the bid that Tottenham made, have said they will not accept the bid from Tottenham until they sign a replacement. Now, today they signed Matteo Lovato, centre back, but it is believed their target to replace Cristian Romero is Mary Demiral. So now they need to try and get that deal done from Juventus before they can allow Cristian Romero to leave. And Tottenham left negotiations last night extremely unhappy because they had met what they thought were Atalanta's demands, yet still were rebuffed and told, we simply can't accept this now. And Danny, there's people saying it's Atalanta's fault, there's people saying it's Tottenham's fault. And in my own personal opinion, I think it's Tottenham's fault because Atalanta are well within their rights to say, well, we want to sign a replacement before he goes. We're not going to let our player go without having the replacement because, for starters, all their attempts to sign replacements, such as Demiral, his price will go up and negotiations will become more difficult. And I'd argue this is the path Tottenham should have taken in selling Toby Alderweireld. But do you think it's Atalanta are to blame, or do you think Tottenham should have just got this bid in faster?
I think it's a bit of both. I think Atalanta are digging their heels in a little bit, and if the reports are true, where they're saying we're actually kind of, if not pretty much there with their valuation of what they want for him, and we're actually ready to pay that, then essentially that they should go ahead of deal. But they are within their rights to, if you're looking at it from like a neutral point of view, they're within their rights to keep the player until they get a replacement, because any club that's willing to sell, or who potentially might be selling their best centre back or one of their best players, of course, if it was Tottenham, imagine if it was like Harry Kane, for example, right? And we
Mm.
sold Harry Kane without a replacement. Imagine, unless we knew we had something lined up like concrete, then everyone would be going absolutely mental, because it's like you've just sold your best player and you haven't got any backup plan or anything. So you can understand it, because if you're in Tottenham's shoes, then it'd be the same for us if it was Kane situation. So I get it, but the thing is, it's just like, Tottenham, the problem with Tottenham is they do like to try and with Daniel Levy, you know what he's like. He tries to do these deals where it's like it's so structured, so it's the most, so
Yeah,
he can get the best value he can out of it. Like he's not like a Man City where they go and slap exactly what they want straight away. Because I'm sure if they did that maybe a couple of weeks ago when they started talks, if they said, right, we want 55 million, rather than going back to them and saying, okay, we'll give you 40, okay, we'll give you 45, okay, we'll give you 47, okay, we'll give you 50, and then they have to start negotiating the bonuses, and then they start negotiating the structure of the deal. It's like if that was 55 million bang on the plate, I'm sure they would have done the deal. Like I'm sure of it, because it's like it's the money there on a plate, and obviously the rumors we've heard is that the deal is supposed to be structured over a number of years, which is why another reason why they might be taking, they might want a replacement first, because then if they're not getting the lump sum in one go, then they need to make sure they can get that defender in. Otherwise they risk not being able to get him in. So I get it, but it's just frustrating for us, to be honest.
absolutely. It is like, no, I don't think any fan will deny it is from a Spurs point of view. It's so irritating because we're finally seeing our club actually going in and making this offer for a player that we really do need. And as Luke says there in the chat, we do need more than Romero. But Romero was a
100%.
damn good place to start, and I do think he's a very important cog of the kind of incomings that Fabio Paratici is trying to bring to Spurs this season. And there are a few kind of different sort of intricacies within this deal that is making it perhaps look a bit more likely at the moment. And one of the main ones is that Cristian Romero wants Tottenham Hotspur, and he wants us badly. I saw Romano said a few times that Romero thinks this is the biggest opportunity in his career. He'll do absolutely anything to wear the Tottenham Hotspur jersey. And where that stands at the moment is Cristian Romero is still, for the next 24 or so hours, on leave after the Copa America. So he'll be returning to training on Monday with Atalanta, where he is believed to have a meeting with the board or the manager, Gasperini, whoever it is, to say, listen, I want Spurs, get the deal done. How important, Danny, do you think that could be for Spurs and actually trying to get this one over the line?
Well, like when I saw the Gasperini comments about him saying that obviously the player's decision is important or something like on those lines, it's quite telling, because like if a player is like just doesn't want to be there, not the fact that he doesn't want to be there, more that he actually just wants this move, like he really wants this move. And to be fair, like if I'm speaking as like again a neutral fan, I mean he's a madman to want to come to Spurs. But for a player of like who is Serie A Defender of the Year, who actually really wants to come to Spurs, this is like the best chance you're going to get to sign a top player like right now, who's actually on form wise, he's one of the best defenders in Europe, right? So I mean, it's hugely important that he's trying to push for it. And I know we've seen the Fabrizio Romano tweets and the Twitch videos where he really wants to come, and that is important because it helps push the club towards a deal. But I mean, who knows? It might literally just be the one thing that's stopping this deal is they want a replacement, and as soon as they do that, they'll action the deal. They'll sanction it. So it could just be that it's just a waiting game at the moment. So because all of us are in limbo because of the contradictory tweets that we've seen. It's like, will he, won't he, will he, won't he? So, and a lot of Spurs fans, I know they're excited about it, but it's like half are excited, half are like, oh, we know what happens here. This is Tottenham. Daniel Levy has done this. Here's Ruben Dias again. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Here's Dybala. Here's Grealish, and the list goes on. Do you know what I mean?
It's even happened with Conte and Poch. It's not just players. We've seen that with.
Exactly.
I need to start listening to you a bit more, Danny, because you're telling me to stay grounded with these ones, and I'm just getting overly optimistic, and I'm the only one.
I can see why though. No, I can see why, man. Because even like, there's that little kid inside me, right? That's like, oh my god, we actually could get an unbelievable player. But then, like, for that split second, I feel like that, and then it's just like, oh, wait a minute. This is Tottenham, right? We got to keep grounded, because if I get my hopes up, I know what is going to happen. It's just I'm going to be so much more angry, so much more pissed off. Not that I won't be, because I'll be still infuriated that they won't get him. But if we don't get him, it's just like how I am now. It's like, well, I kind of expected it because it is Tottenham. It is how they do things.
Absolutely, and we're getting used to it fairly quickly. I see a few people there mentioning, and I've just been tagged in Twitter in one of these posts as well by Zulaman. Quite a few sources have actually said this evening that a deal is done, and that the transfer has been completed. I've seen this one here. Zulaman tagged me in Adrian E. Magnoli. There's been Ekram Koner and TYC Sports as well have all said that a deal is done and that this has happened. Now the reason we're not talking too much about those is because of the sources that it is coming from. You know on this channel what we get is we give a lot more value to the most reliable reports, and until Romano or Gold or Di Marzio or someone else, I think like Gianluigi Langari, who has been really on the button with this one, when it comes out from them, then we'll begin to talk about it a bit more.
What did he say, Matt, today? Didn't he say some quite good tweet about
He
Romero?
he
Sorry.
did. I'll just get it exactly there. Type of word, because like I said, Langari has been on the point or on the ball with this one the whole way through, which
He
is
has.
considering it's Spurs. I think it's impressive that he has been that. But what he said is totally confirmed. Tottenham submitted an offer to Atalanta,
That's
50
it.
million plus 5 million. Spurs still confident to reach an agreement, and talks are on and never collapsed. Barcelona still waiting to increase. Their first offer submitted on Wednesday will be a loan plus an obligation, but I think we can quite ignore that. The
They'll be
subject with
waiting
Barcelona.
for a lot of years, mate.
They will. They will. But look, I suppose that's positive if Tottenham do still have that confidence to get this deal done. But you, Danny, do you have a confidence that this deal will get done?
Like it's a tough one, Matt, because I kind of always stick to my instinct, and my instinct still right now is not on the fence. It's more like I'm just being pragmatic about it, like and pessimistic. Like it's like it's like if we get it, it's unbelievable. If we don't, then look, it happened again. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
at the moment, I'm just feeling. Look, I'm just going to keep this stance because I don't want to get my hopes up. Because it's just even worse. Because just seeing right how Man United have gone and bought a centre back, they bought Varane pretty much. Konate's gone to Liverpool. Arsenal have got Ben White. Man
Mhm.
City look like they're going to get Grealish, and it's just like everyone is strengthening around us. Aston Villa, bloody Leon Bailey. I mean, it's just like literally everyone is strengthening, and it's like we've sold Toby, and we still haven't got a defender in. And if we don't get him in, it's like I actually have a. I know we can potentially get like Milenkovic and other players they've mentioned, but for me, we need someone who's top class because if you look at when we were in the top four, we had like one of the best defenders, two of the best defenders in Europe in Toby and Jan, right? And we need
Mhm.
someone of that class, like to come in and shake up this defense in a way that hasn't been shaken up since their prime days, since those two players' prime days, and we need something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, I agree. Just someone put there in the chat saying Romano tweeted, so I checked, but I don't think he has cleared off. Don't do that, my friend. Don't do that. Silver Surfer here as well with the super chat says, "Is Kane pushing for City before the transfer ban?" Silver Surfer, first of all, thank you very much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. With regards to that transfer ban for Manchester City, I'm not entirely sure that is going to go that far because they are Man
Mm.
City, and it's just ironic that the fact they're in trouble for spending so much money, they would probably get out of it by spending more money and a few bribes along the way, because I think we know that'll happen. But I think what Silver Surfer is referring to there is a story from the Telegraph today that
That's
said
right.
Harry Kane will hold talks with Tottenham next week and insists he wants to join Jack Grealish by signing for Manchester City. And look, I've been confident the whole way through this summer that Harry Kane isn't leaving Tottenham because Man City just simply don't have the money to sign him. These latest investigations from the Premier League, I think, will add to the unlikelihood of that happening. But also, I think within that headline there, Danny, is another main reason that Kane won't be going for Manchester City. And there's no chance whatsoever that they spend 100 million on Grealish and then 150 plus on Harry Kane. And I assume you agree.
Yeah, no, there's no way in hell they're going to do that. They will not spend 160 plus because the reports are that to even have a conversation about selling Kane, a conversation with Daniel Levy, we've been negotiating for Romero for 2 weeks and we still haven't got over 2 weeks and we still haven't got a deal with. Can you imagine what that's going to take to negotiate a deal for Harry Kane leaving Spurs?
Yeah.
It's just like it's going to
It's
take
just not
like
happening, is it?
no, it's like look at all the managers we've had. Like this manager situation we had, right? This merry-go-round we had 3 months, nearly 2.5 months or so for a manager, right? It's
Hmm.
gonna take like probably longer to get a Kane deal done. I mean, I cannot see them spending 100 million record on an English player, right, and then going to buy Harry Kane for 160 plus because there's no way unless the only way they can get a deal for Kane is if they pay like 100 million plus maybe a player or something like that, like Laporte or something like that. That's
Hmm.
the only way I can see it happening. But for me, Kane staying this summer, I can't see it. And also the fact that Man City need to sell players. And who's going to be able to buy their players? If you look at the clubs they've got, right? So the players they're trying to, you've heard talks of Sterling and potentially Bernardo Silva and these kind of players that they potentially might leave. Like, really, are they going to leave? Who's going to pay their wages? Who's going to pay the
Yeah.
money that they're going to need to get them out of the club? There's not many clubs that can pay those kind of that kind of money, unless it's like Chelsea or Man City or Man United, sorry, or Liverpool, or because the other, apart from PSG and Bayern, the other clubs are all cash struck at the moment. So yeah, I can't see it this summer. I can't, not this summer. I think next summer, if we don't get top four next summer, or win a trophy and show Kane that we're actually trying to improve, like Romero kind of signings, then
Mhm.
he's gone next summer for me.
I honestly think, regardless of the way the season goes, he'll be gone next summer because
Yeah, same here. Yeah,
as much as we have him for the, we have him tied down to 3 more years at the club. We do have to protect the club's financial interests as well. And I don't think we can afford to keep him until he's 29 and then let him go for what, maybe 20, 30 million. It's
yeah,
just not possible.
yeah,
We do need to get some bit of a decent fee, which
yeah.
I think we still can do next summer.
Yeah,
Jason Groves there at the $5 super chat. Jason, thanks so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Says, I
big up.
honestly think it's time for Spurs to make a statement signing, and I couldn't agree more with that because it shows intent not only to Harry Kane or to any potential players we're trying to bring in, but we just need something. We need a statement. We need to show that we want to get back to that level that we were under Pochettino, and that we want to build and we want to become a consistently top team, because we're not that. And at the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to be that anytime soon.
Yeah.
And things need to change if we do want to be competing
Well,
at that top level.
do you know what, Matt? It's like you go and get a signing like Romero, right? For me, my opinion, that is a statement in itself. To go and sign the Serie A's best centre back, right? It's a statement itself. Arsenal have gone and paid 50 million, obviously English tax for Ben White, but I mean, you go and get Romero for what 40 odd 45 million pounds. For me, that's just one of the best deals this summer. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do agree. And there's another potential statement signing that Spurs could make. However, this one does quite heavily rely on any potential departure for Harry Kane. I've seen a lot of people ask for this in the live chat since we started. But the news on Lautaro Martinez coming from the Athletic, I think they said it in the last couple of days, but they have reiterated it today that Tottenham could be interested in bringing in Lautaro Martinez as a replacement for Harry Kane if the English talisman moves on to Manchester City this summer. Martinez is another player who's really attracting a lot of interest from around Europe, playing with Inter Milan, of course, winning that Serie A last season under Antonio Conte, and taking away the run of 9 successive titles that Fabio Paratici had at Juventus. Danny, if we're going to let Harry Kane go, there aren't many better players around Europe that we could target than Martinez, do you think?
Yeah, not there's at the moment. I mean, obviously we know there's been rumors and talks about, and I know Ali Gold said that we actually have an interest in Vlahovic, right? And I
Yeah.
like Vlahovic because he's left-footed, he's young. I know so is Martinez, but Vlahovic is kind of a big kind of presence in the box. But Martinez, I think right now he'd probably be, obviously I think he'd be a better signing. If Kane was to go, then for me, it's got to be one of them two that comes in. And it just depends on whether Tottenham were willing to stump up the money to pay to get a replacement. Because if they sell Kane, they're going to need to buy a centre attacking mid or someone who's going to create the goals as well as someone who's going to score the goals. Because he's doing both at the moment, so they're going to need someone else. Because we don't at the moment, unless Tanguy kind of steps up, I can't see or Gio, I can't see any of them kind of giving those kind of numbers that Kane did last season in terms of assists.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that one. Now, there is a bit of breaking news. It's not to do with transfers. So I'm going to play my breaking news graphic, but I didn't want to get people's hopes up. So this is not to do with transfers. But it is a bit of Super League breaking news this evening. I mean, we heard in the last couple of days that court in Madrid had decided that the clubs, 9 clubs who had left the Super League, were not due to pay any fines. That would have been €7 million for leaving it, and 5% of any prize money over the next couple of years. They've spoken further tonight. Madrid's 17th court has confirmed that all 12 clubs remain in the Super League. So the statement says that the Super League project continues with all clubs without any club withdrawing. So that is the news that we had feared tonight. The contracts that were signed by these teams on that famous Sunday could actually be a lot more damning than we had thought. And that project may continue for a little bit longer, and the fear may go on for a little bit more. Any thoughts on that, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, look, I to be honest, Matt, ever since the Super League started, right, I've been saying to everyone all the time that people need to realize that this ain't going away. This is going to get stronger and stronger as the years go on. It's a matter of time. I'm telling you this. The problem is there's too much money involved in the Super League. There's billions more that teams can make than being in UEFA's European competitions like the Champions League and Europa League. They've obviously done the Conference League this year because, again, it's another chance to make more money, more broadcasting, stuff like that, and obviously changing their away goal rule. They're changing it. Everything's changed slightly, when all this news started coming out, they've kind of pushed forward their kind of ideas. I know they've got a restructure and stuff like that again coming up in a couple of years' time. But for me, this ESL stuff, it was never going away. And if you look at every single Premier League club, just for example, Premier League clubs, none of them actually said we've left. They've all said we've started proceedings to leave. Yeah,
Very true.
that means absolutely nothing. That's like the Sun talking news. Do you know what I mean? That's like the Sun saying Harry Kane's gone for 400 grand a week and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just it's a load of rubbish. And yeah, for me, I think don't be surprised if the ESL stuff comes back in a better form, right? In a sort of structure where people accept it more, and the way they portray it to people, I think people might have a better understanding of it. And I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just saying I think the delivery of it, they probably knew it wasn't the right way to kind of do it because there wasn't enough information on what they actually wanted to do long term. But I think now what they're doing now is I saw some article about a month or two ago, and it was someone on the board of one of these teams, and they were saying like, like this is not going away. If anything, this is just the start of it. So for me, this is exactly what I believe, and I've said it even from when I first saw it. And yeah, it could be a couple of years until we hear something again. But I think what they're doing now is they're gonna structure everything out, and they're gonna make sure their delivery when they announce it, they will do it in the right way. And the thing is, people need to understand football nowadays, unfortunately, is about money. So no matter what happens, they're businesses, right? So if you've got a chance where these companies, let's talk about companies. If you've got a chance where these companies can make billions more, right, over a period of years, and they've got like sustained money or income that's coming in guaranteed, right? If that money's coming in, and say the Premier League and UEFA, they all get a chunk of it or they get a slice of it, there's no way that these people are going to say no if they're going to get more money than what they're getting now. Not in a million years. Everything is about money. And if the money's
100%.
Right, money talks, and it will happen. And that's how I feel. That's what I think is going to happen anyway.
Yeah, Niall says the same in the chat there. He says Super League is coming, only a matter of time.
Yeah,
Money talks.
I agree.
And money absolutely does talk. It really does. It's a sad situation we are, I suppose, in football in modern times, but it's just the way it's going. And that's what we do have to deal with. But one thing you also have to deal with is raiding Bobspur TV, which may not appeal to everybody. I'm only joking. Look, I'm going to spam Bobspur TV's link in the live chat there. He's currently live. Me and Danny are going to be going over to join him straight away. So there's 700 people live watching here right now. So make sure to hit that deal or hit that link. Go into Bobby's stream and say Matt says congrats on 1K because Bobby hit that fantastic number last week. So please do go over there and support Bobby. And there's more people saying Romano's tweeted, and I fall for it every time, but he hasn't.
And before they do that, Matt, I just want to say everyone needs to actually like and subscribe to this man because he is the GOAT of Tottenham right now. The amount of hours and work he puts in, he deserves everything he gets because he does a job as well, full-time job. So please, everyone, if you haven't liked, please smash this like. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe because the content this guy gives you is you won't get anywhere else. I'm telling you this right now. So please do it.
Thanks very much, Danny. I do appreciate that. We're on 134 likes with 680 people still here, so do hit it on your way out. Let's see if we can get that to 200. But the main thing is to head over to Bobspur TV. Like I said, me and Danny will be joining him there very shortly. The link is in the chat about 8 million times, so I'm sure you can find it there if you do need to do that. But look, for me, I suppose I just want to say there is still hope that Cristian Romero could be a Spurs player. And if I had to say now, do I think it's going to happen? I think it will. But I've been wrong many times before, and I'll be wrong many times again.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right, man.
I certainly do as well. Look, for me, Danny, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I really do appreciate it. I got Danny in a short notice, but just shows how good a friend he is that he jumped on here to talk about Cristian Romero. So, Danny, thank you very much.
Honor, mate. Always.
I appreciate that. There's been 3,000 people tuning in as well throughout the stream, so thank you everyone for that. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.